Hello everyone. So we are going to be going over how to use Mendeley and .bib files or bibtex files to work with LaTeX or LaTeX documents. In particular, I'm going to be showing you how to use Mendeley and I'm going to be showing you how to use it with overleaf. Okay. Now I'll also talk about how you can do the same things if you don't want to use overleaf, if you're using some other method. So don't worry about that, but let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is you want to open Mendeley Desktop. This is really important because it's very difficult to use the web version of Mendeley to export any kind of .bib file. So what we want to do is we just want to find the folder that we're storing our documents in. You can do a folder or you can do a group. I'm just going to do this folder because it's really small and it's easy to select everything. So we're just going to go ahead and select everything that I want to export. We're going to assume that I want to export all of my citations. I'm going to right click and then we're going to hit the export option. So export's right here, and by default it's going to show up with a .bib. Now I've already done this. I have an example .bib. It's the exact same thing. But if you need another format, there is a RIS or XML version, but we want the .bib. That's going to work for us best. And we're just going to save it on the desktop or wherever you feel comfortable putting it. And you're just going to hit save. Now, like I said, I already made this file, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit cancel. Now, we've exported our documents, but first, let's go take a look at Overleaf. There's a couple things that will actually make Overleaf easier to use than using a traditional LaTeX or LaTeX editor. So let's go to Account Settings, and if we scroll down here, there's a Mendeley integration. This Mendeley integration allows you to directly link your Mendeley account to your Overleaf account. This is really useful because you don't have to do that export import that I started showing you. It will directly pull your .bib files as needed. There's also Zotero integration if you'd prefer to use Zotero over Mendeley. Okay, so after that, we're going to go to projects. All right, and I'm just going to show you an example project that I've already done. So FIE 2019 is a conference paper that I submitted last year. And we're just going to go over what this looks like. So my particular file in here was actually a manually added citations file. I don't remember why I made this choice, but it was easier than doing the Mendeley direct import here. But if I wanted to do either an upload or a direct import from Mendeley, you just hit that upload button. So again, that's just up here in this corner. So up there, we're going to do a upload from the computer, and you'll be able to select that file. So in this case, it was on my desktop, and I can select my example.bib file. Now, if I wanted to use that from Mendeley, there's some options here. Since I've already synced my Mendeley account to Overleaf, it's going to very slowly, apparently today, load the options that I have there. So let's give that a second to try to load. Okay, I am just going to pause the recording while this loads so that you don't have to sit through and watch this and wait for this. Okay, so after a little bit of loading and some errors, we finally got the Mendeley to load properly. Normally this works pretty quickly. I'm sure they're under heavy load right now, as every online resource we're using is. But there are some options for where you want to sync those references from. In this case, we're not actually going to do this, but you can see how you would do that. So I could select data visualization. I could name the file. Once I do that, it's going to create a slightly different type of file. Right? So instead of it something I can edit, let's actually go back to one of my other examples. So let's take a look at this one. This is my master thesis. So this is a much more complicated document, but my bib file here is apparently not what I thought it was. Okay, so I'm just going to show you actually how to do this. Apparently none of my files are set up the way that I thought they were, but we're going to go ahead and show you what it would look like if you did do the Mendeley integration. So we're going to go there. I'm going to select the data visualization group. It's very similar to the references I already have. And I'm just going to leave the title as references.bib. Now, if I had another one that had the same name, that could cause an issue. So I'm making sure to name them two separate things. Okay, so I'm going to hit create. And now you'll see that references.bib is the one that I imported from Mendeley, and there it looks very different from my citations.bib, which was a manually added file. So the references.bib, it is not editable. I can refresh, so it'll automatically pull things from Mendeley as long as your Mendeley is saved properly, and you can download the file if you need to. All right, you'll be able to see all the same metadata and everything that you could see in the citations file, but you're not going to be able to edit it, and that's what's really important. Now, I don't actually need this file for this project, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete it, and that way we don't mess up my current document. All right, so now how do we actually use that? So I'm using the IEEE template for LaTeX. This is a conference template, and there are some options you have here, so make sure that you're using the correct set of options for your particular template, but there's a lot of stuff in here that you really just need to leave as comments or whatever. That's fine. You may not even choose to keep them as comments. Again, that's fine, but I choose to keep them just in case I need to uncomment them. But if we go down to the begin document section here, and we look at the input method. So I have input, and that's going to actually have most of my actual content from that main file. The other thing here is that there is bibliography style and bibliography here at the bottom. Okay, so the bibliography style, you want to make sure to use IEEE, and then the bibliography, you want to make sure you put in the name of your file, right? So instead of using the full name of the file, you do not have to use the extension. You want to make sure that you use just the first part of the file name. And that's going to give you the access you need in order to actually begin citing all of your different citations. So let's take a look at what citations actually look like. We're going to go to the background section. And in this case, we're going to look at the first citation that I have. This is going to be the Atlassian tool. If we go to my citations.bib, is actually the first citation I have listed because I happen to have them in alphabetical order. So we're going to take a look here. Now we want to use a non-breaking space. That's the tilde. This is part of making sure we stick with the IEEE style guides. Then it's just this backslash cite command and a bracket, the name of the citation. Now that's again really important that that is the name here. It is not the title. It is not the author. It is often related to either of those, but it is separate. So it is its own unique naming. It can sometimes include a year. So in this case, I have one that says Bass 2015. Bass is the last name of an author, and 2015 was the year that it was published. So make sure that you're knowing what your citations are directly. Now, if I, for example, wanted to go through and do this, Overleaf is pretty smart. It's going to try to input it automatically for me. It's trying to do some matching. You're not going to get that on every type of LaTeX editor, though. So that's only Overleaf and maybe a couple other editors that I'm not aware of. All right. So that's generally how it's going to work. And if we look at the background section, we can see that the first citation in this section is numbered 4. If we go down to the references section, we'll see that number 4 is indeed the citation that I just used. So I did not tell it to be number 4. The style guide and everything else that LaTeX is using decided that it was number 4 because it was the 4th reference that I cited. That is the benefit of using a .bib file with LaTeX, is that I don't have to keep track of all that. It's going to keep track of that for me. Now, sometimes Mendeley is going to change the name for your particular citation, and what's going to happen is you're going to end up with a question mark instead of a number in your citation. So if we have down here at number 4, if we had a name for our citation that just did not exist in our citations.bib, then it was going to put in a question mark here, and it's going to not generate a citation in the references section. So that's what's happening if you see that. Otherwise, I think this is pretty straightforward. Make sure you ask me additional questions you might have in the Discord channel, or emailing them to me is fine as well. Okay, I hope this is helpful. and let me know what you think.